But prayer is the secret. You know that. You make up your mind you're going to give time to prayer, the devil will fight it more than anything else. Your phone will ring off the hook, visitors will come. Somebody will say, come and preach at our church. Why do you go conduct a revival in somebody else's church when your own is dead? That's nonsense. Every church in America nearly is filled Sunday morning. How many people do you have in your prayer meeting? The prayer meeting has almost died. We're seeking revival, we're seeking healing, we're seeking miracles. It's not that we need. If we get God, we get all that's needed. And revival is when God comes down. Do you know that man, Andrews? God called him to go to Israel, and he mastered Hebrew, and when he got there, God said, go back. He said, but people gave him do as I say, go back. Intercede for America. What did he do? For 30 years, he prayed from 10 o'clock in the night till 5 o'clock in the morning by himself. Oh, you talk about David Brainerd. I'm talking about our day. I'm talking about when I talked with. When they carried him in his little wooden casket out of that room, it was the first time he'd been out of the house in 12 years, never out of the house. How does a man retain his fire? Every man that comes in my office, and I get them worldwide, I don't know why, but they come. And I say, first tell me, do you know God? Well, I have a degree. I didn't ask you about that. Do you know God? When was your last encounter with God? When were you last prostrate in His presence? When did you last sit spellbound at His majesty? You don't know God. Because we don't know God, we don't know how to worship. We don't know how to enter into His presence. We're content to know a few theological shibboleths that other people have taught us. Dear God, one of the leading men in the Southern Baptist Church, a very dear friend of yours, I won't give you a clue after that, my dear brother, he said to me recently, he said, listen, forget our seminaries. There's no anointing in them. Those professors are teaching the lessons on Romans they taught 10 years ago. You can shake the dust off them. And every year they go back and say the same thing. Romans chapter 1 and then chapters 8 to 11 and chapters 2 to paracan's sake. How can men sit and hear the word of the living God and not catch fire?
Amen. That's right.
Our God is a consuming fire. I don't know. Does the devil care what we have? All he's worried about is that you catch fire, and then your church catches fire. And another thing, let me say this, I've gone round a bit, I know, but I've got to get wound up and say what I want to say. You see, the great revivals of Methodism were not in buildings, they were in the streets. The Salvation Army set England on fire. Wow. Not by buildings. You see, we've lost sight of the majesty and holiness of God. We don't tiptoe out of the sanctuary subdued by God's almightiness and power and mercy. It's just a ritual, it's a formality. People know how we're going to start, how we're going to start. I want to be one of the 10 most wanted men in hell. I want the demons to say, Jesus I know and Ravenhill I know. Jesus I know and Dell I know. That's why the devils opposed him.